One-Way Street podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Wong, and this podcast is dedicated to self-discovery and personal growth that will help you find your personal GPS. Life, as we know, can be unpredictable, and when the path we thought we were meant to follow takes unexpected turns, it's time to recalibrate those turns and discover endless possibilities. Join us on the One-Way Street podcast today to find your true direction. Let's dive in. Hey, it's Kelly, and thanks for tuning in to a new episode. So this episode, I'm calling it the 4 quarters of life. And I want to use a sports analogy to understand this concept better. Like basketball or football, there are 4 different quarters. Well, what if we were to break down our lifespan into 4 separate quarters? Let's go with the average life expectancy of about 80 years old. So going into the first quarter, which is from the time of birth to age 20, we are pacing through school, right? We're pacing through grade school, middle school, high school. Not a whole lot of responsibilities except getting good grades. Maybe our biggest decision is deciding what college we want to attend to or what do we want to major in, right? It's the process of figuring out who we are, what we want to be, what our passions are. And sometimes we won't even know during this stage. I know I was a bit confused at this time. Then we go into our second quarter of life, which is between 20 and 40. Well, welcome to adulthood. Guess what? Adulting is a bitch sometimes. It is hard. It's about finding a job. Now we have bills. Now we're looking for serious relationships, maybe getting married, starting a family. It's really a time of we're taking on more significant responsibilities. We're looking long-term and working hard to achieve those long-term goals. It's also a time of learning things the hard way because why? We're experiencing things for the very first time. And more times than not, we're going to fail. And then it's about learning about how to get back up. And then we might have some setbacks, but then we might have some comebacks. You might want to call this quarter the quarter life crisis. Then we enter the third quarter, which is from 40 to 60. Now it's halftime, but now this is where we experience the dreaded midlife crisis. And we start to question our past and question our choices and think about what the priorities are for this stage of our life. It's a time of reflection because of everything that we've been through. And we might repeat the phrases, I should have, I could have, I would have. Sound familiar? I know it does because I've said it a dozen of times. It's a time when we start to question the things that we did or we didn't do. We start to think about reassessing our goals and our values and what necessary changes do we need to make in order to align with our current situation. During this phase, we might be taking stock of our lives and evaluating our achievements and figuring out what's the next thing we need to accomplish in the next phase of our life. Basically, we're doing some major recalibrating here. Heck, I'm in this quarter. I started an e-commerce business at the age of 49, and now I'm doing a podcast at the age of 55. On my last episode, I spoke about the inner voice, the inner chatter. And my inner chatter was, girl, you are too damn old to be doing this. Just stay under the radar and coast until retirement. Sure, that is the easy way to go. But now I've trained my other voice to quiet the inner chatter. And now I'm saying, I don't really care that I'm older because you know what? I'd rather know that I tried and attempted something than not try at all. I don't know if you know who Tony Robbins is, but he's famous for motivational speaking. And I remember him saying, people say a lot of, I should do this, I should do that, I should. Before you know it, you should all over yourself. And I've done this many of times because the clock keeps ticking. Now, would I rather regret that I never tried or know that I did try and experience things that I would not have ever known had I not tried? At this stage, we have more knowledge, more experience, and we failed enough to only learn the important lessons. Now, the fourth quarter is from age 60 to 80. And during this period, it's a time when we reflect back and we want to leave a legacy. And we prepare ourselves emotionally and practically for the last quarter of our life. We want to make sure that we're taking care of our health and spending time with loved ones and fulfilling that bucket list to ensure that we have no regrets when we leave this world. And that's the key thing, having no regrets. I remember I had one of those quiet moments with my dad in the year that he had passed. And he had said to me confidently, I accomplished everything I ever wanted in life. He truly had no regrets. And that's coming from a man who didn't grow up with anything. Now, wouldn't it be great if we could all say that? Now, if you're past your 80s, hallelujah. This is much to be celebrated. It's the extra innings. It's the bonus round. It's the added value. It's your deserved overtime. Now, question, what quarter are you in? And that's important because the main point, no matter what quarter you're in, is that it's about time. It's about the time that we have left. Time is a precious commodity that we can't afford to waste. There are no timeouts. There are no commercial breaks. Time is going to keep on going no matter what's going on in your life. So who you spend your time with is important, and how you spend your time is important. The clock is going to keep on ticking whether you want it to slow down or speed up. It's funny because when you're young, you can't wait to get older. And when you're older, you want to go back to being young. But here's the thing. When we get older, we might look back on life and wish that we had spent our time differently. And that's why it's so essential to recalibrate our priorities continuously and make sure that we're living our lives to the fullest. Recalibrating each quarter of our lives requires us to be honest with ourselves and to evaluate our priorities and make those necessary changes to stay on course. It is not an easy process. It requires courage, determination, and most of all, self-awareness. And I hope that we can say what my dad had said to me, which was, we accomplished everything we ever wanted in life. No regrets. Thank you for joining us today. We hope that our conversations have inspired you to embrace the detours on your life's journey. Trust that the road ahead is full of endless possibilities. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to subscribe and leave us a review. See you again soon.